Okay. As I said, guys, I'm not, this one, the template for the statement of cash flows, we have done this before, so may I suggest that you just look at this, guys. Maybe you take a photo so that when you do this, you'll be able to compare. And if you have any questions about not being able to get the answer, that's the time that I'll answer your query. But please don't expect me to give to you the answer, guys, because this is supposed to be an exercise. You're supposed to work on this. Otherwise, guys, we defeat the purpose of you being able to do this on your own. Just to just to have a quick check, guys. 2021 cash flow was 14,000. 2020, it was 7282. So I got the difference. The difference between the two is 6718. Okay. So this is what I expect to have in the statement of cash flow, 6718. So you have operating, investing, and financing. Okay, any questions, any clarifications about this, guys? Okay, then, okay, how about the common size statement and horizontal analysis, guys? Do you remember this one? You can work on this now. No? How do we create the common size statement and the horizontal analysis? For the horizontal statement, guys, for the income statement, everything is divided by sales. So we make sales as our benchmark and everything is expressed in terms of sales. So the formula here will simply be sales divided by sales, and then we fix sales. We fix the row $4 so that when we copy this towards any cell in this set of cells, it will remain with sales with this row. Okay, so actually I just did that one formula, okay, and then I just copied it to the left and down to the right. And then make sure also to follow the borders, okay? To follow the borders, repeat the borders of the financial statements. And then I inserted this one. Do you know how to do this, guys?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Would you want to learn how to do this?
Sige po, sir.
Isa lang, gusto? Yung iba ayaw? Okay, sige. Thank you. All right. So let me delete this. Okay. Before we do this, what do you notice, guys? You notice that this is actually a okay, forgot the name. Okay, it's a Sparkline. Okay, it's a Sparkline. It tells us the flow of the data from 2019 up to 2021. I placed a color code here. It's a bar chart that the biggest value is in green and the lowest is in red. So you see here that over time, the following values have been increasing. For example, sales. So ang pinakamaliit niya noong 2019, pinakamalaki noong 2021. No? So it has been increasing over time. Tapos may iba, guys, yung other expenses, for example, the lowest value was in 2019 and then the biggest was in 2020 and then it went down by in 2021. The question is are these good? Okay ba na tumataas yung values na to? Lahat ba ng accounts, guys, sa income statement, the bigger, the better? If it's increasing, does it mean it's better? No, not necessarily. Yung mga sales, siyempre maganda yan. Sales, other income, guys, maganda yan nag-i-increase over time. Pero yung mga costs, okay, if it increases over time, guys, siyempre hindi maganda yon, no? Kung makokontrol yung costs, mas maganda yon, mas tataas yung efficiency ng company. So let me just illustrate to you how. Okay. Okay. Ayaw, hindi ha. clear. Okay. All right. So how do we create a sparkline, guys? I'll just teach you how to do this. So you have to highlight first what are the values that you want to create a sparkline on. So this one, I'd like to create a sparklines for our income statement accounts. Okay. So highlight that first. Highlight, and then insert. Okay. Under insert, you have sparklines. So there are several sparklines that you can create. You can create a line sparkline, a column sparkline, a win-loss sparkline. Let me choose the column sparkline. Okay, I click this, and Excel will ask, so what's the data range where you want to create a sparkline? So it's here. I already highlighted this. Okay, C4 to E13, and then choose where you want the sparklines to be placed. I'm going to put it here beside the numbers. Okay, and if I press OK, there you go. Okay, so the default is for column. For bars, the default is, I think, blue, but you can change the coloring here. Okay, there are several choices. Okay, but I'd rather put some additional details here. So once this is highlighted, under design, you have this marker color. Okay, if you click this, then you can have, you can choose which of these you want highlighted. For example, I want to highlight the high point in green color. Okay, so notice the highest point was formatted to green, and then maybe the marker color for the low point, okay, I want it in red. There. So here you can see the sparklines. Okay, and it has its place. You can see visually, guys, the changes over time. Okay, of course you can do this using other sparklines. Let me just illustrate that. So insert. Let me use a line sparkline. The data range is this one, the same data, and then let me just put the sparkline. It has to have the same number of cells. Okay, here, just for comparison. Okay, so here, guys, is your sparkline. Of course, you can also highlight this high point, maybe in green. Let's see what happens. Low point in red. Okay, so there you go. The red, the lowest point was formatted in red. So let's see this is a line. Okay, wait. Sparkline color, no, not that. High point, let me put it in maybe violet. Okay, there. So you can see here, guys. Oops, nawala yung red. Okay, but you know what I'm saying, guys. No? You can put this side by side. It's a visual way also to present your data. Okay, so I did that also for the balance sheet below, for the asset side, and for the liabilities and equity side. Okay, let me pause for a while. Any questions so far, guys? Paki-indicate naman kung clear so far. Clear ba yung sparklines natin? Okay, good.
Clear
Thank
po,
you.
sir.
Yes, question. Yes. What's your question?
Ay, sir, sabi ko po clear.
Okay, sige. Thank you, thank you. Okay. In your project, guys, in your group work, you can do this. It helps also in visualizing your data. Okay, then you have this. Again, guys, I'm not going to give this to you. This will be your exercise. You should be able to compute for this because we already computed for this. I suggest you take a picture, okay? And then kindly change, guys, by the way, yung WACC natin, kindly make it 10%. I think in the file that I gave you, it's 8%. So kindly make it 10%. So you'll be able to compute for this, guys, kasi alam na natin kung ano yung NOWC, net operating working capital. We know that this is operating current assets minus operating current liabilities. And then TOC is simply your NOWC plus net fixed assets. Okay? So you should be able to compute for this easily, guys. Okay, so based on this, you have for 2020, you have your free cash flow. Okay, sige, would you want me to give you guys 5 minutes for you to do this? Do this now para ma-compare nyo na kagad para makita nyo kung tama yung answer nyo. Would you want to do that, guys? Sige, ganun na lang. Okay, sige. I'll give you 5 minutes to work on this. Okay? And then let's go back in 5 minutes. Ipapause ko muna yung recording para hindi sayang yung ano natin. Pause ko yung recording, guys. Tapos 5 minutes, we resume. And then let's compare the answers here. Kasi gusto ko makita nyo na kung tama yung answers nyo. Sige. Okay, I'll pause recording for a while. So, go. All right. So these are the formulas, guys, for these measures. Una yung net operating working capital. Sabi natin, operating current assets yan minus operating current liabilities. So we just have to, for example, for 2019, okay, inad ko lang yung mga operating current assets, which includes cash, AR, and inventory. Sabi natin hindi kasama si short-term investments. Tapos ima-minus natin si operating current liabilities, which include accounts payable at saka accruals. Notes payable is not kasi ano siya, financing yan, ano, may interest bearing yan. Okay, so just one formula, guys, pareho lang naman sa 2020 and 2021. So we can see, guys, that over time, operating working capital has been increasing, di ba? You can actually, pwede nyo lagyan ng sparkline dito. So, sige, lagyan natin quickly, insert. And then let's put here a column sparkline. Oops, column sparkline. Let's highlight this. Let's just put it here. Okay. And then, pwede pa rin natin lagyan ng color high green. Low point is red. Okay, so we can see the movement, no? Yung net operating working capital natin, it has been increasing over time. Ganon din si total operating capital, which is good kasi ibig sabihin, management, the company, the firm is providing management with increasing capital, no? Operating capital. Yung net investment nga lang, okay, which is just a difference between TOC 2020 minus 2019, dito malaki, no? 1.119 million. Pero sa nung 2021, lumiit siya. No? Although yung TOC lumaki, total operating capital increased over time, pero hindi siya kasi laki ng increase between 2020 and 2019. Okay, so you notice, guys, how I'm analyzing these things. I'm looking at it from the perspective na si NOWC, tinitinan ko, hindi lang yung isang particular year, but how it has been increasing over time. So that's one aspect that's actually more introducing you to financial statements analysis, financial ratio analysis. When you look at measures in the income statement, in the balance sheet, in the statement of cash flows, we look only at a particular figure in a particular year. You have to benchmark it. Okay, so dalawang benchmarking yan. Okay, so let me just write that, which I'm going to discuss later on in greater detail. So you benchmark, so sa ratio analysis, oops, because that's what I'm actually beginning to do now. Nagre-ratio analysis ako or measure analysis. You compare it, dalawa, no? Against time. Okay? So gumawa pa nga tayo ng sparkline dito, no? So what has that specific account or amount, how has it been behaving over time? So ito tinitingnan natin 2019, 2020, 2021. We can see that net operating working capital has been increasing over time, no? Which is good. So ibig sabihin lumalaki yung operating capital, working capital ng company, ng firm. So we're looking at it across time, but not only across time, but also you take a look at it across competitors, no? Or competitors or players in the industry. Okay, kasi nga kunyari ang direct competitor natin, tayo 1868 1868 yung ano natin, yung NOWC. And it has been increasing over the years, no? From 793 2 years ago, ngayon 1868. Is that good? Well, time-wise, good siya kasi nag-increase siya. Kaso, there's another component there, no? Hindi lang natin dapat tinitingnan yung time-wise aspect niyan, but also yung benchmarking niya. Okay, kunyari, you have a direct competitor, no? Pag sinabing direct competitor, halos malaki, halos parehas lang yung ano nyo, yung level of sales, yung volume. Pero let's say, guys, that si direct competitor, ang ano niya, ang NOWC niya is, sabihin natin, around 5 million. Okay. So what does that say about the company? Okay. So ang point ko dito, guys, hindi lang natin titingnan yung across time na performance ng company, but also across its benchmark. So some industries have what we call industry averages. So a company would, it would be good for the company also to compare it with the industry average. Or kung number one siya dun sa industry, hindi maganda na i-compare niya yung sarili niya sa industry average kasi siya yung pinaka-top eh. Pag nasa gitna ka, yung company, okay lang yun na i-compare natin with the industry average and also with the number one. Pero pag number one yung company, hindi na wise na i-compare niya yung sarili niya with the industry average. Kasi number one na siya eh. So ang best, maybe aside from comparing it over time, you benchmark up, you compare it with other players, maaring hindi sa Pilipinas, maaring sa, kunyari, sa ASEAN or maybe sa US, and compare your operations with those companies there. In other words, parang best practices para makita natin kung talagang maganda yung practice ng company. Okay, clear ba yan guys? Yung aspect ng ratio analysis, looking at it from the time perspective and the benchmarking perspective. Okay, clear yun guys? Paki-chat nga kung clear. Pause muna ako. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so sa ano guys, sa group ano nyo, sa group work, sa group project nyo, you're going to do ratio analysis kasi as a group. So dalawang companies ang kukunin nyo, no? Kasi may benchmarking yun. You'll choose the lesser company and then benchmark it against the bigger company. So dalawang companies ang gagawa nyo ng ganitong analysis para may benchmarking. Okay, so let me continue. So net investment natin, wala tayong 2019 kasi wala tayong figure sa 2018. So between 2019 and 20 nag-increase ng ano ng 119. Tapos nung 20 to 21 nag-increase lang ng 447. Okay. Then we look at NOPAT, which is just your EBIT times 1 minus tax rate. So, noong 2019, 209 yung NOPAT natin. Noong 2020, bumagsak, ano? Naging 10 na lang, 10 na yung graph, no? It went down. And then, it recovered 2021. So, mukhang may problema yung 2020, ano? Kasi bumaba yung operating profit, eh. Despite the fact, guys, na ang TOC niya, okay, nag-increase yung operating capital, no? Despite that, bumaba yung NOPAT. Okay, next. How about free cash flow? Free cash flow is simply your net operating profit after tax minus your net investment. So wala tayo dito sa 2019 kasi wala tayong net investment sa 2019. Okay. What's free cash flow used for? Ano yung gamit ng free cash flow? Okay, by way of reminder, guys, ang free cash flow, it's the cash flow available for distribution to whom? To whom, guys? Ang free cash flow. Kanino available yung for distribution? To? Yes, may answer. Okay, thank you, Charmaine. You're correct, no? You're correct. It's to investors. So this is the cash flow available for this distribution to investors after what? Cash flow available for distribution to investors after setting aside or after investing your requirements for operating capital. Kaya nga mina-minus natin. NOPAT minus this, you have your free cash flow. Okay, question. So ano yung mga gamit ng free cash flow? In-identify natin nun. Interest payments, principal payments for companies that lend the company money also. Kasi ang investors, di ba, dalawa yan. Creditors at saka shareholders. Ito naman, dividends. At saka, ano, guys? Buyback ng capital, no? And then, yung panglima is investments in non-operating assets. Example nito, there are several examples, and one example is acquisition, no? Acquisition of another business. Okay, question, guys. Ano ba, yung free cash flow ba, pag negative ba siya, pangit ba yun? Yes or no? Please, pakisagot, guys. Does a negative free cash flow indicate a poor performance? Okay. Subok lang, guys. Ano lang, off the top of your mind, sige. Just key in your answer, yes or no. Thank you, Eliza. Yung iba? Julius, thank you. Yung iba walang answer? Okay, good. Sige. Yes, no. Okay, so yung iba, hindi pa sumasagot. Pag negative ba yung free cash flow? Okay. Alright, so medyo the rest, yes. Okay. Isa lang yata nag-no dito. Hans, I'm not putting you in the spot, no? Pero bakit kaya no sa'yo? Would you like to share, Hans, kung ano yung reason mo, bakit no yung sa free cash flow mo? Pag negative siya, it doesn't necessarily mean na palpak o pangit yung performance. Okay, so uso na maraming gastos pag startup. Okay, all right. Partly true, no? Partly true. Pero not necessarily startup naman to, no? Kasi pwedeng hindi startup na company to. If this was not a startup company, okay ba na negative yung free cash flow? Okay. The answer there, guys, is as the usual answer, it depends. So hindi automatic na kapag yung free cash flow natin negative, ibig sabihin ng pangit yung performance ng company. It depends. Unlike, guys, yung EVA, kapag negative yung EVA, value was destroyed, di ba? Ang free cash flow, hindi. Iba yung not necessarily. So, tingnan natin yung definition. Ano ba yung definition ng free cash flow? It's your NOPAT, okay, minus your net investment in TOC. So, let's take a look at this. So, dalawa yung titingnan natin dito, no? Yung NOPAT at saka yung net investment. So, kapag yung NOPAT, pag negative ba, pwede ba maging negative yung NOPAT, guys? Can NOPAT be negative? What's your answer? Pwede ba maging negative yung NOPAT? Tingnan guys yung formula ng NOPAT. Ito yung formula ng NOPAT. Can NOPAT be negative?
No, sir.
Ha? Sino yan? Pwede ba? Okay. Thank you, Charles. Yes, pwede siya maging negative. Kasi kung yung EBIT mo negative, siyempre negative na yung NOPAT. No? Kasi negative mo, babawasan mo pa. So, a negative number minus a positive number. Okay? Right? So, pwede maging negative yung NOPAT. So, pag negative yung NOPAT, guys, tapos babawasan pa natin ng net investment, lalo magiging negative yung free cash flow natin. So, again, back to my question, okay ba kung negative yung free cash flow? Okay yun. Kung, if the reason was because there was a high net investment in total operating capital. Pag nag-i-invest yung company sa operating capital, okay, tapos yung NOPAT, hindi kasi laki ng net investment, then your free cash flow will become negative. Then okay lang yun. Okay? But, if the free cash flow was negative free cash flow was due to, in the first place, negative na yung NOPAT, no? Okay, it was primarily due to a very low operating profit. Then, yun ang pangit sa ano. Yun ang masasabi natin na pangit yung negative na FCF, no? In this case, medyo partly lang siya, no? Partly pangit kasi mababa yung ano niya, yung NOPAT, no? Compared to 2019 and 2021. So one reason why free cash flow was negative is because of the low NOPAT. Na-exacerbate lang yan ng malaki yung net investment. But this is not bad, guys. Yung malaking net investment in total operating capital, it's good. Kasi nag-i-invest pa yung company, putting more funds for the operations to run. Okay yun. So dito, masasabi natin na partly yes and partly no. Partly yes because relatively mas mababa yung NOPAT nila. Okay, and partly no. Bakit hindi masama yung negative FCF dito? Kasi it was also due to a very high net investment in TOC. Okay, clear yun guys? Clear? So dito mas mababa yung negative free cash flow. You're starting with a relatively higher NOPAT. Yun nga lang, mas mababa yung TOC niya, investment in TOC compared to 2020. So in a sense, mas maganda nga yung investment in TOC sa 2020 as compared to 2021. Okay? All right, next, ROIC. It's simply your NOPAT divided by your beginning capital. Okay, NOPAT divided by your beginning capital. Okay, is this good or bad? Yung 0.92. Good or bad yan? Answer please. Return on invested capital. Okay lang ba yung ROIC natin na 0.92%? What's the answer, guys? Okay, yun yung mga tanong sa ano sa exam nyo Conceptual at saka ano?
No, sir.
No? Bakit no?
Sa walk po, sir.
Yes, correct. Thank you. Thank you. That's correct, no? No. ROIC of 0.92%, that's value was destroyed, no? Remember, ang objective dapat creation of value. Ito, nag-destroy ng value kasi you always compare this with your WACC. Ang average cost of capital ng company is 10%. This company is on the return niya on invested capital is only 0.92%. So way below the 10%, no? In 2020. And it improved tremendously in 2021, naging 13.36 na, with the same WACC of 10%. So we can say here that in 2020, value was being destroyed by the management because ROIC was less than the weighted average cost of capital. However, the company was able to recover in 2021, where they saw a performance of an ROIC of 13.36%, way above the average cost of capital, which is 10%. Okay, so how about MVA, guys? Market value added. Okay, this is just, you get the market value of the shares now. So we're given that the stock price is 6 multiplied by the number of shares. So that's the market value. Okay, and then we subtract the book value of the equity, which is the total equity, which consists of your common stock and your retained earnings. Okay, so, and then just copy this. So mas malaki yung market value added in 2021. So mas maganda yung performance nung 2021 compared to 2020. But both actually created value via market value added. Okay? Kaso nga lang guys, ang limitation ng market value added, ano kino-compare natin, yung increase ng value ng equity from the beginning of time up to now. Okay, no 2021, if you compare the equity sa simula ng yung pag-create ng company hanggang ngayon, it created value worth 1,065,000. Okay? The more critical measure is your EVA, economic value added. And we said yung EVA guys, kapag negative yan, okay, poor performance yan. Unlike yung FCF na not necessarily. So ito, this was created using either NOPAT or ROIC, pareho lang makukuha natin. Value was destroyed in 2020. However, the company recovered again in 2021. Okay? Any questions, guys? Any questions dito? Okay, no questions? All right. So, I'll leave you guys to do this in statement of retained earnings. May pattern na naman kayo niyan. Okay, thank you, Christian. Okay, and then statement of cash flows. Okay, and dito yung pro forma. Dito ko na lang ginawa yung pro forma, guys. Katabi mismo ng balance sheet para mas madali. So, katapat siya mismo. Okay. So, with that, guys, we now go to, let's start now working on financial ratios. Okay, there are some questions here. Okay, we actually have already answered some of them. What happened to sales and net income? Okay, well, how will you answer this, guys? What happened to sales and net income? As I mentioned a while ago, you analyze it over time, no? And then, dun sa project nyo, meron pang isang financial statement din. So, i-compare mo siya with the benchmark. Yung benchmark nyo, ang gagamitin natin, yung mas malaking company. So, you have to have me approved. I'm going to create a spreadsheet. Dun yung ilalagay kung ano yung ano nyo, kung ano yung company nyo, para makikita ng iba. Hindi pa pwedeng umulit, no? No repeat of companies. So, I might post the spreadsheet in G Drive, if not later tomorrow, so that you can already choose your group mates. Ano ba gusto nyo? Kayo pipili ng group mates o ako yung mag-randomize ng group? What's the suggestion of the class? Paki-chat nga. Anong gusto nyo? You choose your own group mate or I be the one to assign you to a group. Okay, may choose. Okay, sige. May iba, choose, sige. Alright. So, groups of, ilan ba tayo? 30. I think it should be groups of 3, no? Groups of 3 lang, guys. Okay, so you choose your own group mates. I'm going to send sa Canvas natin yung, doon nyo ilalagay sa G Sheet, no? Sa Google Spreadsheet, doon nyo ilalagay yung groupings nyo. Hopefully, I'll be able to send it later or tomorrow. Okay, so as I was saying, question natin, sales, in absolute terms, tumaas yung sales natin, ano? 342 as seen in this graph, as seen here. No? And your income natin, bumaba talaga siya ng 2020. So we can say that 2020 was really compared to the 3 years, 2020 was a forgettable year for the company kasi nag-net loss pa nga siya. No? Although mataas yung sales niya compared to 2019, and yet kung titingnan natin guys, ang laki ng cost of goods sold niya. Okay. Ngayon dito papasok ngayon yan guys, yung common size statement. Okay? Kasi we're comparing everything by according to sales. So what does this say about us, about the company? Noong 2019, ang cost ratio niya is 83.4%. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Sa bawat 100 pesos na sales, 83 pesos doon yung cost ng binenta nila, ng cost of goods nila. However, in 2020, tumaas, no? It increased by 2 pesos. No? Sa 100 pesos na sales, ang naging cost niya 85.4 naman na lang, no? Na tumaas ng 85.4 pesos, no? In fact, noong 2021 nga 82.4 lang eh. Okay, so malaki ng tinaas nito. Right? So nakikita nyo guys yung gamit ng common size statement. Okay, kasi dito we're pegging it with the sales of that specific year. No? So kung titingnan natin dito guys, yung other expenses niya tumaas from 9.9% naging 12.3%. Total operating cost niya 99.7%. Ibig sabihin guys, sa bawat 100 pesos na sales, 99.70 pesos doon yung gastos. 30 centavos lang natitira para other expenses and para sa kita. Wala na kasi may interest expense pa na 3 pesos, no? Ang natira na lang dito 30 centavos eh. So kaya naging negative na negative net income. As compared with 2021, guys, bumaba yung cost ng yung cost of goods sold 82.4%. Ibig sabihin, guys, sa bawat 100 pesos na na benta, ang cost para i-produce yung finished product na yun 82 pesos and 40 centavos. Tapos yung other expenses bumaba pa. Ito 12.3, ito naging 8.7 na lang. Okay? So, ang total operating cost niya, guys, 92 pesos and 90 centavos. So may natitira pa na pang interest expense, tsaka may kita pa. Okay? So you can see guys that over time, yung 2.6 na, ito na yung bottom line, 2 pesos and 60 centavos for every 100 peso sales. Okay? Noong 2020, siguro sa COVID to, no? Bumagsak, pero estimated niya for 2021, makaka-recover siya. Okay? And then, ano yung horizontal, guys? Yung horizontal naman, it tells us of the difference. So, ito, ibig sabihin nito, kino-compare natin yung 2019 to 2020, sales increased by 70%. Diba? Ang laki ng in-increase ng sales, 70%. Pero, ang laki din in-increase ng total operating cost. So, tumaas si sales ng by 70%, tumaas naman si total operating cost mo ng 80%. So not good, no? It tells us about the how operations is being handled. Okay? All right, tingnan nyo to, no? Ano nangyari dito? Net income went down by 208%. Okay? Laki ng binaba, no? Okay, and then okay. So, ganun guys yung yung horizontal analysis. We're comparing by years. Okay? Ito guys, tama ba to? Ibig sabihin ba, bumaba yung performance ng 2020, 2021?
Hindi dapat.
Ha? What do you think?
Hindi po ba mali?
Oo, mali yan, no? Deliberately I did this, no? I deliberately did this para aware kayo guys, lalo na pag may mga negatives, ha? Ingat, no? Kasi, nag-improve ba yung net income in 2021 compared to 2020?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nag-improve kasi naging positive nga eh. Ito talagang bumaba, negative 95, comparing it with 87,960. Talagang bumaba ng 200% plus. Pero ito guys, negative ba dapat to? Negative ba guys?
Sir, positive dapat.
Yes, positive dapat yan. So you have to correct this. Huh? You have to correct this. It was not a decrease of 366.55, but rather it was an increase of 365, 366%. Okay, so irarag ko to guys para for you to explore how you should be able to correct this. Okay? Alright. So, yung ratio analysis guys, maraming pagkukunan yan. Common size statement and horizontal analysis already gives us some hints or some highlights or some insights about our data. So, sa project nyo guys, syempre, kailangan nyo mag common size statement para makita nyo kung yung composition ng sales natin tsaka ng balance sheet for a particular year and also between years. No? Itong ginagawa ng common size statement at saka ng horizontal analysis. It gives us insights about accounts on a particular year, and particular year, and also in between years. Ito kino-compare natin. Dito, it's this over this minus 1. That's the growth rate. No? By how many percent, by how much did our sales increase between 2020 and 2021? Okay, any questions, guys? Yeah, thank you, Charles. That's supposed to be positive. Any questions about,
Sir,
yes?
Sir, paano po ulit ko rin yung horizontal?
Ang horizontal, ano lang, i-compare lang natin, no? 2020 divided by 2021 minus 1. This is simply your growth rate. Naalala niyo guys, yung high school, paano nyo kinocompute yung growth rate? Okay, what were you taught about growth rate? Di ba, ang growth rate, it's simply, okay, ang growth rate is simply new minus old. Ito yung diniscuss ko last time, di ba? Over old. Yeah. Most probably, ito yung natutunan nyo na formula for growth rate. Kaso guys, sa Excel, matagal pa to kasi magpaparenthesis ka pa. Hindi ka pwedeng hindi magparenthesis, otherwise, mamamali yung answer natin. Kasi uunahin ni Excel dyan yung division. No? Kaya dapat lalagyan natin ng parenthesis. Kaya mas madali, if you're using Excel guys, i-distribute na natin denominator. So this becomes new over old. Okay? Minus 1, di ba? Kasi pag dinistribute natin yung old, if you distribute the old here, and then dito, old divided by old is simply 1. Kaya nga, guys, yung formula niyan is this one. No? It's ang new natin, ang new ito, kasi 2020 ito. New divided by old minus 1. Okay, so yun lang, tapos copy nyo na yung i-copy nyo na yung formula. Okay, kailangan nyo lang be careful about this guys kasi tingnan nyo, negative, mali nga yun di ba? Okay? Alright. So any questions so far about common size and the growth rate? And you can also do the same guys sa balance sheet. Kung titingnan natin yung 2019 na balance sheet, anong pinapakita naman sa atin ito? Yung composition ng assets natin. So nung 2019, ang karamihan ng assets natin is current assets, no? 76%. Yung iba, yung fixed assets natin 23. Pero noong 2020, nakita natin guys na lumaki yung fixed assets natin. Okay? Yung percentage. Kasi nag-invest tayo ng malaki. From 344, nag-increase siya ng 939. No? So lumaki yung percentage ng fixed assets natin. No? Is this good or bad? Well, it really depends on what industry you are in. Siyempre, pag nasa manufacturing ka, maganda siyempre guys kung maganda investment ng company sa fixed assets, sa property, plant, and equipment. Okay, tapos medyo bumaba ulit, parang nag-normalize ng 2021. So again, yung horizontal analysis natin, papakita sa atin na between 2020 and 2019, fixed assets increased by 172%. So more than double, no? 1.72 times. Pero bumaba siya nung 2020. From 939, naging 836, a decrease of 10.95%. Okay, ganoon din dito guys sa liabilities and equity. Kung titingnan natin, paano ba yung financing ng company? Okay. Ito, tingnan nyo guys. Oh. Ano kaya nangyari dito? What happened here? Total equity naging 19%. Why? What's so remarkable about this guys? Okay, tingnan nyo yung composition ng assets natin, kung paano fina-finance. Nangutang ng notes payable, ba? Nag-increase. Nangutang din ng long-term debt. Yan, oh. Kita nyo guys, oh. That's why notes payable increased by 260%. More than twice, 2.6 times. Tapos long-term debt, nag-increase ng more than twice, 209%. Right? So noong 2019, nag-heavy sa liabilities, no? Dapat nga tayo dapat dito ng would have been better if we inserted total liabilities dito, no? Lagyan lang natin, no? Total liabilities natin is just the sum so we can see that over time, no? Grabe yung grabe yung taas ng ng liabilities natin, no? From 805 naging 232. In percentage terms, 54 dati. Best to put a line here. Top and bottom. Okay. Dati ang total liabilities natin, ang debt ratio natin 54%. Naging 80%. Tapos naging 44. Medyo erratic yung yung galaw ng liabilities. Okay, so we can see that, no? So I hope you are convinced already, guys, that when you look at income statements, balance sheets, and income statement and balance sheet, kailangan titingnan natin across time. Tapos yung detailed, ano nangyari dito sa mga specific accounts na to. No? Okay, and then the second part will be compare it now with the benchmark company. So once again, guys, take note na yung first group project nyo will be financial statements analysis. Pipili kayo ng 2 companies, okay? Tapos ipopost nyo sa G-sheet kasi hindi pa pwedeng magkaroon ng repetition. Hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng parehong company, so it will be on a first come first served basis. Okay, so dapat may access kayo dun sa financial statements ng company. Okay. So all right. Any questions, guys? Tinitingnan natin dito. That was actually just answering the question here. So yung iba dito guys, sinagot na natin kanina, no? We already answered these questions. Okay, for example, the firm's cost of capital is 10%. Did the growth add value? Okay, makikita natin yan. Ano yung answer doon guys? Did the firm add value? Answer? Doon sa question na to. Ito, did the firm add value? Question number 14. What's the answer, guys? Answer is... Okay. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Hans. Hate, no? From 2021, value was destroyed kasi 0.92 lang. Pero nung 2021, value was created 13.36, comparing it with your weighted average cost of capital, this one. Okay, so let's go. Ito guys, bahala na kayo dito. Alam nyo naman yan, pag may template na kayo, you can easily create the statement of cash flows. Okay, now let's go to our ratio analysis. Continue natin. Okay, binigay ko na sa inyo to, no? Ito, yung mga ratios. Of course, wala pang laman kasi I gave the formula here. I want you to do that. No? I want you to work on that and so that we'll be able to answer these questions. Okay, for example, why are ratios useful? Ito mga to, why are ratios useful? Well, ratios are useful because it allows us to assess the operating performance of the firm. Kung nakakapag-create ba yung company ng ng value. So, lagyan na natin dito, importance of ratios. Okay. Para saan, guys? Well, it's used to assess performance of the firm. Ano pa? Maraming gamit ng ratios, guys. Aside from assessing the performance of the firm, it can be used to as a basis for what, guys? For investments. No? Given the ratios, maganda bang mag-invest yung company either sa increasing fixed assets, okay, or acquiring other non-operating assets? So it can be used as a basis for investment. Ano pa? Also, it can be used for rewarding, no? Rewarding employees, pwede rin yun. Okay, so maraming gamit guys yung ratios. These are just some. Okay, can anyone please add to this one? Ang dami pa natin pwedeng ilagay dito. So very important yung ratios kasi number one, first and foremost, we're able to assess gaano ba kagaling yung management sa pagpapatakbo ng company. Okay? Is value being created by management for these shareholders? Or is value being destroyed? And that can be answered, guys, by looking at financial ratios and financial measures. Dapat ba mag-invest yung company sa mag-increase ba ng investment? Dapat bang bumili ng ng panibagong mga equipment? Ratio analysis can help us answer that. Opportune time ba na i-reward natin yung mga yung mga employees by whatever benefits? So makakatulong din yung ratios diyan. Okay, anyone would like to venture a suggestion kung para saan ginagamit yung ratios? Guys? Any additional points here? Okay, so I'd like you to read on this, research nyo guys kung ano yung mga there are many reasons why ratio analysis is very important. No? That's why it's part of our discussion. So aside from these three that we mentioned, there are other reasons why it's imperative for companies to engage in ratio analysis. So maraming categories guys ng ratio analysis. Okay, dali baka may sumagot. Okay, yeah, okay. Generally for decision making, that's correct, no? So ito lahat, no? Okay, thank you. These all are for decision making, no? Itong dalawang to, decision making to eh. Ito. Diba? Decision making to. So in general, it helps the firm come up with sound decisions. No? Sound decisions for, diba? Operating, investing, and financing activities. So malaking tulong yan guys, no? Yung ratio analysis. So thank you for that. No? It's for decision making. That's very true. Okay, so my question dito guys, ano daw yung 5 major categories of ratios and what questions do they answer? So ito yung mga major categories, no? Ito. You have your L, AM, DR, okay, PR, and MV. So here we're just giving some examples. So ano guys yung L? Ano yung major categories natin ng mga ratios natin? What's L? That's your... Okay, let's see. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Carlos. Correct. No? That's your liquidity ratios. No? So, sandali lang ha. Nag-insert ako dito. No? So, this L stands for your liquidity ratios. Ang example natin dito, current ratio at saka quick ratio. Ano yung AM? What's AM, guys? This is asset management ratios. Okay, then ano yung DR? Okay, andyan na. Yung mga debt ratios natin. Then yung PR is your profitability ratios. And then lastly, yung MD market value ratios. Okay, marami pang ibang klaseng ratios, guys, pero we'll just focus on these 5 basic ones, 5 important ones. So liquidity, okay. Anong nangyari? Ay, pen pala to. Sorry. And liquidity, asset management, debt ratio, profitability, and market value. So that's the answer to this question, guys. No? Ano yung mga iba't ibang klaseng ratios? Okay, the rest are asking us to compute the current ratio and comment on them. Okay, so let's start, guys. Let's continue answering the question. Okay, what's current ratio? I already provided you with the formula, no? Current assets over current liabilities. Okay, so I'll just show you one. Kasi pag nasagot yung isa dito, guys, that means masasagot nyo na rin yung iba. And may I request you guys to answer everything here. Total may mga, linagay ko na yung mga answers, I already placed there the formulas for the ratios. No? Okay, so dalawang example natin guys ng liquidity ratios, current ratio at quick ratio. So the formula for current ratio is Ano siya? Current assets. Diba? So ito naman yung current assets natin divided by current liabilities. Okay, take note, hindi dito dinidistinguish yung operating current assets at saka operating current liabilities. So it's all the current assets and all the current liabilities. Okay. 2.3. Tapos naging 1.5, tapos naging 2.6. Tapos yung industry, 2.7. So parang ganito mangyayari guys sa first project nyo ha. Meron kayong measures ng company nyo, tapos meron din doon sa competitor nyo. So as much as possible, dapat 3 years din yung sa ano nyo, sa competitor. Okay, so what can we say about the current ratio of this company? What does current ratio measure? What does current ratio measure, guys? So siyempre guys, needless to say na i-research nyo rin kung ano yung mga ratios na to, no? Find some time, guys, to look at what's the importance of these ratios. So ang current ratio, guys, it's always intuitive to look at the formula. Current assets over current liabilities. So what does that mean? So, tingnan natin ha. Ito. Noong 2019, it was 2.3. So current ratio is equal to current assets over current liabilities. Is equal to 2.3. So it's always intuitive, guys, to look at the number. That's actually 2.3 over 1. So mathematically, we can read that as for every 1 peso na current liability, the company has 2.3 pesos ng current assets to pay its current liabilities as they fall due. Remember, ang current liabilities yan, guys, ang ano lang yan, maximum ng 1 year ang due. No? Usually, pag trade payables, minsan 30 days, 60 days. So, yung number na to, guys, itong 2.3, it tells us that the company has 2.3 pesos. No? 2 pesos and 30 centavos. Para mabayaran yung piso na utang na magiging due kailan? Within the operating period, within 1 year. Okay, kasi yung measure ng current liabilities. No? So sa bawat piso na utang, current liability, merong 2 pesos and 30 centavos yung company para para bayaran siya. No? Yun. Clear yun, guys? Clear? So, nakita natin na 2020 bumaba siya. No? Mas naging lesser yung capability niya to pay its current liability. Tapos tumaas na naman siya ng 2021. Nag-improve siya by 2 naging 260. Okay, so mako-compare natin, guys, over time. No? Based on our Sparkline, kita natin na bumaba talaga siya ng 2020. Okay? So pag ando doon ka sa company, kunyari sa finance kayo, it does not stop there. Kailangan i-analyze, ano nga bang reason bakit naging ganon? Okay, so titingnan nyo, for example, ano ba yung composition ng current assets niya nung 2020. Kasi tumaas naman yung current assets. Sorry, mali yung tinitingnan ko. Current assets is this one. Okay. Current assets, mas mataas naman siya kaysa 2019. Kaso ang problema, guys, yung current liabilities niya. Ang laki ng tinaas ng current liabilities niya. From 323. So, ilan yung tinaas siya? Dito natin titingnan sa sa horizontal analysis. No? Oh, more than 2 times. No? 209 times. 209% or more than twice yung in-increase. Samantalang yung in-increase ng current assets natin is just 73%. Nag-increase si current assets ng 73%, tapos si current liabilities nag-increase ng 209%. Ang laki nga talaga. No? So that explains why yung current ratio natin bumaba siya ng from 2.3 up to 1.5. Tapos tumaas na naman ng 2.6. So medyo naging challenge siguro sa kanila yung 2020. Okay, now sabi natin ang current ratio, it measures the capability of the firm to pay its current obligations as it falls due. So pag maging due na tong current liabilities, magkano yung how much is the company able to pay its current liability of 1 peso. Ito 2.3 no in 2019. Kaso take note guys na hindi siya masyadong accurate na measure ng capability ng company na bayaran yung current liabilities niya. Kasi yung current assets natin, meron mga inclusion yan. Oops. Ano ba yung laman ng current assets natin guys? If you recall, diniscuss natin ito dati, no? May cash, may short-term investments, may AR, may inventories, may accruals pa nga, no? May accruals. So, dito, masasabi natin na kung yung inventories, 715, 200, let's say yung business niya, it takes time in order to sell these goods or in order to manufacture them into finished product. Okay? Kung matagal pa yon guys, then hindi accurate na measurement ng capability ng firm to pay off its current obligations as it falls due yung current assets. Kasi kasama niya yung yung inventories at saka yung accruals kung meron. No? So another measure, a better measure to assess yung kakayahan ng company na bayaran yung current obligations is this one. So ano siya? Sabihin natin, ito yung mga liquid assets. Yung mga liquid assets, liquid current assets, they are assets that can be easily converted into cash. Ano yun? Yung tatlo. Cash, marketable securities, at saka receivables. Okay? Time na ba? Oo, time na pala. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry guys, it's already time. So, last statement na lang to, no? So ito guys, mas strict na measure to, yung capability ng firm to pay its obligations as they fall due. Kasi tinatanggal natin yung inventories dito at saka yung accruals. Yung mas madali lang i-convert into cash. So ito, cash, marketable securities at saka si accounts receivable. Ibig sabihin 0.8, 0.5, 0.1, less than 1 siya. Ibig sabihin sa piso na liability, meron lang 80 centavos yung company na bayaran yung current liabilities. Okay, tapos medyo pa yun kasi may receivables pa yun eh. Kung matagal ma-collect ang receivables. Kung tutuusin, kung cash lang basis, yung marketable securities, okay lang yan. Kasi, kunyari, treasury bill lang yan, madali yan i-benta sa market. No? Ang problema yung AR, depende rin sa receivables ng company. So kung talagang magiging strict tayo, yung cash at saka marketable securities. And makikita natin dito na hindi siya sufficient, less than 1 siya, kaya parang kulang yung fund ng company para bayaran yung liabilities, yung current liability. Okay? So, kailan yung exam nyo guys? Kailan yung quiz nyo? Tuesday, di ba? So, Tuesday, we'll have our first quiz. It will not cover guys yung ratio analysis. Kasama yung mga NOWC, kasama yung cash flow, kasama yung first lessons natin. Okay? But not ratio analysis. Hindi kasama itong mga diniscuss natin yan. Okay, any questions, guys? Any questions? Okay, so if not, guys, thank you so much for attending. Kung may questions kayo, feel free to PM me, email, guys, no? Tapos, then hopefully I'll be able to see it immediately and answer you quickly. Okay, so salamat, take care, everybody, and please keep safe. Quiz tayo sa Tuesday, no? Okay, sige. Yung may mga question, you can still remain. Malikay, may question ka?
Sir, ano ulit yung kasama sa test?
Yung everything, yung introduction to financial management hanggang dito sa mga dito sa ito ginawa natin to last time, di ba? Itong yung mga NOWC, yan, hanggang diyan.
Okay, sir.
Diyan. Hindi kasama yung ratio analysis.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sige, thank you. Attendance, sino magpapa-check na attendance? Anyone who would like to have his or her attendance recorded?
Ako po, sir.
Okay, dali ah. Name please.
Caitlin Ngo.
Okay, dali lang.
Sir, will we have
Yes.
synchronous pa on Tuesday?
Yeah, quiz natin sa Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Synchronous natin na quiz on Tuesday. Dapat ngayon, kaso because of the academic easing, minove na lang natin. Kasi wala pa tayong quiz. Dapat may quiz tayo, 2 or 3. No?
Sige, sir.
Okay,
Thank
sige.
you, sir.
Caitlin, ano
Sir,
family
the
name?
quiz will be on Canvas.
Yeah, synchronous tayo.
Sige, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sige. Caitlin, okay. Thank you. Sino pa?
Thank you, sir.
Your
Alright.
question.
Yes, sige.
Will there be an Excel file provided for the quiz?
Malamang. Malamang.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Pero karamihan kasi synchronous tayo. Maraming multiple choice questions. Tapos may Excel din.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. May attendance pa?